Live today, and we got a lot to talk about. Good to be back here every Tuesday, Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will be doing live streams for you guys today. We got to talk about the U.S. Treasury coming after DeFi. We got to talk a little bit about Bitcoin, how it ended the first quarter of 2023 here, and where we're going next. Also, Bitcoin getting talked about by Apple users right now. Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper turned out to be in every single Mac they produced since 2018. Got to look at that. And other world leaders right now challenging crypto, but yet it is pressing on, moving upward. And there are going to be, guys, 100x opportunities in this next bull market. So we have to talk about what coins you should be looking out for, some of the best altcoins. Got a couple in the title there that we'll talk about. Are those 100x tokens? We'll have to see, guys, what comes out, but we'll go into some of that as we get into another one. I am also joined by my partner on the channel today, Blacksea. Blacksea, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here as always. Super excited to pick through this news that is out today with you guys as usual. Super excited.
Let's get into it. Got a lot of exciting things happening, but first and foremost, I wanted to change it up and kind of just talk right out of the gates, Black Sea. I wanted to talk about some 100x plays. A lot of people, as the bull market starts to come, we're going to see a lot of people starting to talk about 10x, 20x, 100x, 1000x opportunities, 10,000x opportunities. You're going to see all these different things, and then they're going to point to, hey, look at what Shiba Inu's done previously. The gains that have happened with that are incredible. Can Shiba Inu do that again? Some people will start asking. Before I kind of go down the list here, what are your thoughts on 100x tokens for this next bull run? How many of those do you think there will be, and how hard are those to find in your opinion?
Well, I'll be honest. I think that 100x coins are definitely going to be happening. I mean, they even happen in the bear market, and if we're
Yeah.
going to be honest here, but it's with these much smaller market cap coins. We're talking things underneath $1 million. Take $1 million, go to 100 million. That is possible in the bear market. However, I do think that you'll see a lot more of these market cap coins residing in the levels of, like, let's say 10 million going to $1 billion, or maybe even 100 billion getting a 10x, or excuse me, 100 million getting a 10x and turning into a billion. I think you'll see a lot more of that in the bull market. But in the bear market, you do get 100x coins. It's just a lot smaller market cap coins that by the time you hear about them, if you didn't find them yourselves, it's probably a little bit too late to be getting in.
Now, if we were to get 100x gains on Bitcoin, for example, that would be probably something I'm not planning on seeing in the next bull market. That would be amazing. But, a $2.7 million Bitcoin, I'm not having it for the next bull market. People were saying $1 million Bitcoin in 90 days. We call that out on the channel. As exciting as that would be and as awesome as that is to think about, things like that, aren't going to happen in the next bull market. Now, you could make an argument to me that one day Bitcoin could do 100x still. Sure, I've seen $10 million Bitcoin price predictions. I can subscribe to some of that, down the road. I believe in Bitcoin. Then you start to look, can Ethereum do something like that? Really, to your point, Black Sea, and I love how you singled out the lower cap altcoins. Because, guys, at the end of the day, it's all about market cap. If you're looking at how much game potential does a token that I like have, you got to look at market cap. And, guys, that's one of the reasons we are so bullish on Cronos, for example, on this channel. Why? We always talk about Binance. It's a direct competitor to Binance token. Binance is at a $50 billion market cap. Well, for one day in a next bull run, in two bull runs from now, for Crow to be at a $50 billion market cap would really make sense to me. If every coin's going up and this is currently at 1.7 billion, you could see maybe a 100x opportunity out of Crow. I really do believe that. We put that in our thumbnails because we believe it, guys. I think that at some point, you got to just know that if a project is truly a good one and it sticks around for a while, and you're talking about trillions of dollars flowing into some of these cryptocurrencies, then there are going to be some coins like Crow and a lot of other smaller cap coins. Now, I'd say Crow is a good example, Black Sea, of a token where it kind of is in the rare spot, right? You could look at some of these top 50 tokens and you could say, maybe a couple of these are going to 100x, but how do you know which one is? I believe that Crow is one of these, but those are very far and few between.
I think that seeing Crow get 100x is very, very possible. Especially, let's just say it how it is and say, Binance is the industry leader when it
Hmm.
comes to the exchanges in the crypto space. And I really do believe if we all are going to be calling this Web 3, Web 3.0 and the new internet, then ideally Binance would be somewhat like Google. I know that's
Hmm.
not a very good comparison, but that's as close as we can get here. And, I really do see a world where Binance could potentially be at $1 trillion market cap. And that leaves
Yeah.
plenty of room for Crowcoin to reach 175 billion. I think that is extremely feasible, especially if the industry leader has $1 trillion market cap.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you this too. When you're trying to pick your winners as well, I mean, like, I'll be honest with you guys. I'll be completely, and I could be wrong on this, right? This is not financial, for the record, not financial advice, guys. But these are some of the things that we look at. We've been through these bull cycles before. We're looking for reasons to buy tokens. I look at an ape coin, and if you had bought ape coin when it was first coming out, then you've probably already made your 100x, and there might be another 100x down the road. I really wouldn't. I would pick Crow over ApeCoin if I was looking for a long-term sticking around 100x token. I think ApeCoin, had its run. Also, you could look at a coin like Shiba Inu, right? And people think, could it hit a penny? Could it hit $1? It maybe one day it could hit 1/10 of a penny, but like to become a penny would be trillions, I think, trillions of dollars in Shiba Inu. So, 100x for this coin even to get to a couple tenths of a penny. I think even that gets a little bit crazy because what kind of
Yeah.
utility does a token? It's already got a $6 billion market cap, so 100x, $600 billion market cap, like.
Yeah, unless we're printing money into oblivion, which we kind of are, but unless we really, really, truly print into oblivion, I don't see that happening. If that were to happen, then I wonder what the overall crypto market cap would be. It would have to be
Yeah.
over 20, 30 trillion, which is, I don't quite see that feasible in the next
No.
bull market. Maybe 10 trillion, in my opinion. I know Crypto Kip and I's views vary a little bit on that, but I think we both could probably come to an agreement that we won't see a $30 trillion market cap on crypto next bull run.
No, yeah, I'm not thinking. I mean, if we do, that's fantastic. Then some part of the story has changed, right? Then these banks really failed, and then money really flew into Bitcoin and crypto. But yeah, I mean, 30 trillion would be amazing. I just don't think in the next bull market that's possible. But that being said, you're still dealing with an additional, 9 or 20 trillion dollars that could come into this market. And it can get spread across these coins. But for a Shiba Inu to do 100x. I'm not going to think that that's probably going to happen. I'm not saying like a 50x couldn't happen on Shiba Inu. That'd still be incredible. It'd be at like a $300 billion market cap. That would be crazy too.
Gosh,
I don't
can
even.
you imagine a $600 billion market cap in
Oh,
Shiba Inu?
no.
That'd be just disgusting.
No, and in Shiba Inu, so they got Shibarium coming out. It would have to get more into things like that, right? We need to see more utility. Like, this is crazy, but I'm more likely to think that Ethereum could get 100x before Shiba, only because it is so widely used, right? There's nothing to say that Shiba Inu could replace the utility that Ethereum puts in place. The only thing that Ethereum has going against it right now is fees, and even though the fees are ridiculous, people don't care. And that blows. People care, but look at the volume on the network. You see the total value locked up. It's still the king of it. And maybe you could make the argument too. What's going to happen when it comes unstaked, right? But honestly, I
Yeah.
think when the upgrade comes and Ethereum's unstaked,
I do have
it's still
a
strong.
crucial argument to make about Ethereum, actually.
Yeah.
Recently, I've been exploring the DeFi space more so than I have in the past, and I've been diving deeper and deeper. I know that some of you guys might have heard about that Arbitrum airdrop that people were making tons and tons of money with, and basically what that is a layer 2 solution for Ethereum, which basically makes it so that the fees on Ethereum are significantly cheaper. So I do have to say that that is a new thing,
Hmm.
and keep your eyes out for more and more people to see this. But I will also play devil's advocate here and say that I don't think that bridging your coin, your Ethereum, to a layer 2 is the end all be all answer when it comes to eliminating the gas fees. I think that is a overcomplicated step, and only people that truly are in and out of the DeFi ecosystem on a day-to-day basis is that a good enough answer for right now. But when it comes to mass adoption, I don't think you're going to see your neighbor bridging a crypto asset to another layer 2. I just don't think that you're going to be seeing that.
But I think it's a nice Band-Aid. And if you're really going to use the system, it's a good Band-Aid. But Band-Aids fall off eventually, and I do think Ethereum's going to get better. I really do. So one day, next bull market, I'm not thinking that we're going to get to a $2 trillion market. Well, you know what? That's hard to say. I mean, Ethereum's huge, guys. Ethereum's huge. Ethereum could be the exception to the rule, but I honestly, I'm not thinking.
Ethereum is also deflationary. Is also deflationary, so you have to keep that in mind.
True. And a Binance, next bull market, I don't think so. There's only a couple of these coins. You start to look at some of these others, and they're less popular. Who knows if a Tron can do it? Who knows if an Avalanche can do it? Avalanche was a huge project. It's got a lot of hype behind it. I mean, you could make an argument that it could, but is it established enough? Is there enough behind that? Chainlink. People love Chainlink. Is that really going to be, again, if Ethereum kind of figures it out in the next bull market, are some of these solutions going to be as popular? It's going to be interesting to see. Uniswap, if Ethereum gets better, then maybe Uniswap could get a little bit stronger. So these are some of the things you could kind of start to look at as we get going for the next bull market. But if you're really looking for some 100x, 1000x gains, you got to start scrolling down to the bottom here. Now, at the beginning of the stream, we started talking about
we're talking 1,000, rank 1,000 and below or higher, I should say.
Even something at rank number 100 at 400 million, 100x for that is extremely substantial. That makes it, I think a top 20 project at that point. Yeah, it puts it almost right in the top 20, which is only a couple coins are going to do it. And we're going to try to discover those, guys. But all right, enough of the 100x tangent. I wanted to get into it, guys, because it's something that people are going to start thinking about. There's going to be a lot of coins out there. The lower the market cap, the higher the risk. You really, really got to pick your horses wisely. But I'll tell you this, don't die on the hill chasing a 100x gain when there's perfectly good gains for Bitcoin, Ethereum. Maybe crypto.com doesn't 100x, right? Maybe we only get a 50x. That'd be incredible. That'd be absolutely incredible if we got a 50x.
I think that's very important to emphasize. And we have Nazar in the chat saying ETH versus Bitcoin for highest percent gains in the next bull run. What Crypto Kip was just saying, don't die on the hill looking for 100x's when you have an Ethereum and a Bitcoin to invest in. However, I will say that you probably won't be getting the highest returns with Ethereum and Bitcoin if you're comparing them to some of these other altcoins, especially in the heat of the bull run. But that being said, you should always, not financial advice, but I almost want to say it, you should always have some Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're trying to figure out which one is I'll just tell you this. I mean, who knows what happens in the future? But historically, from low to high, Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin. So that is something that you see. Typically, altcoins, every other coin except for Bitcoin, well, not every other coin, not every single other coin, but a lot of altcoins, I should really be careful there. A lot of altcoins, definitely not all altcoins, In fact, many altcoins won't outperform Bitcoin, but there are a significant amount of altcoins that will and do outperform Bitcoin. That being said, if your altcoin misses and you don't own Bitcoin, like Blacksea said, then you're going to miss out altogether. And you definitely don't want to do that. But Ethereum has historically outperformed Bitcoin. That's what we've seen. So not financial advice, guys. Again, we gotta do the research. We gotta pick our plays wisely. We urge diversification here on the channel. We really do want you guys to have a nice balanced portfolio. We want everybody to make money in this next bull market because frankly, there's going to be millions of millionaires in the next bull market.
Yep.
It's
And
it's gonna be crazy.
hopefully, throughout the bull market, there will be many, many millionaires made, and hopefully, many of them stay millionaires when that bear market comes.
Right, right.
It's
Yeah.
important.
It's hard. It's hard. You got to take profit, guys. So let's get into some of the stories. We are obviously excited for crypto. There's a lot of great things happening right now. One thing we've been talking about on the channel is now that these inflation conversations have really peaked, right? You got the Fed coming out. Everybody's waiting to see what they have to say on the FOMC meetings. The Bitcoin price was wildly swinging on every single FOMC meeting. A question we got to ask ourselves, are we really at a time where, this headline, Bitcoin buckles the day before the U.S. jobs report? I don't really know if the U.S. jobs report is the thing that makes, in quotes, Bitcoin buckle. And Bitcoin just kind of came down a little bit. It's still at $28,000, which is an incredibly high price for Bitcoin, up still like 68% for the last 3 months. Bitcoin's simply consolidating after previously, hitting a high higher than it's been in the last 6-7 months. So I'd like to say, I'm not sure how important the U.S. jobs report is here for Bitcoin as we get into this bull market. It's the same conversation. I'm not really going to buy the narrative until I see this next FOMC meeting. If Bitcoin really starts to move in a way that's very obvious in the next FOMC meeting, whatever the Fed does, whether he keeps the rates the same, he lowers them, or he raises them, we're going to have to see some proof to say that Bitcoin's even tied to some of this data anymore. Right? What are your thoughts on that, Blacksea?
Yeah, I think, like I've been saying for a while now, we're in such a data-driven market. But eventually, if the data doesn't make sense, or if the data has been altered to where it's not the true data, eventually the sellers will be gone.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're kind of already there where the sellers are gone. And even if the news comes out bad, there's not really a safer place to put your money than Bitcoin right now because of all the uncertainty that's going on in the world, especially when it comes to the U.S. dollar.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the U.S., you know that all this talk about all these other superpowers of the world ditching the dollar, ditching the U.S. dollar, and that is really bearish for the dollar. And to be frank, when the price of DXY goes down, which is the dollar, usually that's when Bitcoin has a breakout to the upside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is an interesting thing too. Talking about the dollar, coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about the World Economic Forum today. Actually, we're going to start talking about some of this and just kind of, what is the world order? What are the banks doing right now, and what do they have to do with pushing against crypto? Call me crazy, but the banks that are failing in America, you could make a strong argument to say that Silicon Valley Bank collapsed because of the Silvergate FUD. The Silvergate FUD was manifested by basically the banks and all the people that are paying politicians. You've got all the lobbyists for the banks that are coming and saying, hey, like, crypto's a threat. Why don't we kind of go after some of these crypto-friendly banks? This is something I really do believe, guys. I really do believe this. And now we saw all these banks collapse. And it's really interesting because there's this world order that's happening, and the World Economic Forum is a big, big part of it. You've also got all the institutions in the U.S., the Treasury, you've got the SEC, you've had the CFTC that's recently been speaking a little bit, coming out about crypto. All these people right now are coming after Bitcoin in a big, big way, and it's really, it's kind of gotten to a point. So let's look at the dollar here in a minute, but it's getting weaker, and I think there's an argument to be made that there is a shift towards other countries, and you can see that. I'm going to show you a little clip of the World Economic Forum. Listen to who's speaking and who's getting mentioned. Not the U.S. Not the U.S. So it's very, very interesting. But one thing we're dealing with here today, crypto regulation and public health. Janet Yellen and the Treasury Secretary, they've been talking about DeFi and how, they don't think it's good. They think that it's bad. There's money laundering that can go in there. That's the old debate that everybody wants to keep throwing out there. But really, the biggest thing is that the financial services and gambling that cryptocurrency enables isn't good for you. They want to tell you, hey, this isn't good. We're trying to keep you safe. Come here, my little hens, stay in the coop. And meanwhile, the wolves are just eating all the hens, right? They're they own the world, right? And they don't want crypto to come into the picture, and they say they're doing it for your own good. But the truth is it threatens the existing system. And so she just wants to protect you from it. In other words, stop you from enabling yourself to have a wealth building tool. Is this too much, Blacksea?
No, I think that's definitely a thing. I mean, I think that 100% it all comes down to money leaving the traditional system, and it's a threat to the banks. And they're going to do everything they possibly can in their power to prevent that from happening. They don't care about you losing money. They just care about you paying them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, and here's another one. They want you to pay them, right? I mean, I heard something crazy. People have flooded Blackrock in the past. Blackrock, which is a huge Bitcoin bull. When I talk about Bitcoin, we're going to talk about Blackrock in a minute too, but they're a huge Bitcoin bull, a very bullish narrative for crypto. It's very exciting. Right now, they're a huge part of the conversation, and it's very, very interesting to see they've been buying up real estate, buying it up, because at the end of the day, the world, there's an argument to be made. Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum want you to own nothing and be happy. So the World Economic Forum is a community of the world's largest financial leaders that get together and try to basically set the master plan for the road ahead for the economic world, right? The entire world's economics, finding new technologies. Remember crypto, the technology, finding new technologies and adopting it, or boxing it out if it's a threat to the existing system. They want you to own nothing and be happy. Now imagine a world where BlackRock does buy up all the real estate. Now you can't own a house and you'll just pay rent for the rest of your life. Not a world that I want to live in, right? So this is something that really was spooking people, I think at the beginning of this bear market. I think people were talking a lot about it. It's been a while since people have been talking about. When he came out during this last World Economic Forum, he said, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." Is that really a world that we want to have?
I would argue that some people probably would say yes to that because they are naive to what that truly means. But we don't want that. I personally like my freedom.
What if I told you that this is what the guy that said that looked like?
Yeah, exactly. I think that man, it's pretty rough.
Well, and then
I think.
All right, hold on, Blacksea.
Wait, let me get my thought out. Let me get my thought out here. Okay, so I think that when it all comes down to it, they just want you to think that you'll be happy. On that second part, they say you'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
Yeah.
But in reality, you're not going to be happy and you'll have nothing. But the naive people will believe, oh, well, I'll be happy. But you got to be able to own your own things. You got to have your own house. You got to have your own land. You got to have your own things. That's just life.
Got to have my own Bitcoin. I want it in my own wallet. I want to hold my own assets. I don't want to hold it in a bank. I'm banking with Bitcoin. I bank with the bank because I got to get a mortgage. That's about it. I got to get a mortgage. That's the bank game that we have to play. Well, one day, I hope that we don't have to play that game, and I certainly hope that I don't have to just rent for the rest of my life. I would like to have the ability to own my own place and be my own little BlackRock and have some renters. That'd be spectacular. It's a fantastic business model. But if this is something like they actually want to take this way, by the year 2030, now, Blacksea, I know you can't hear this audio, so I'll sum it up, but folks, I want you guys to hear what this man says, what he sounds like real quick. I brought a little clip forward for you. Here you go.
Revolution in cooperation with the World Economic Forum. The objective is to quickly recognize the potential of new technologies as well as develop the necessary ethical and political frameworks around those new technologies to ensure that those technologies are human-centered and society-oriented. The world has to overcome not only the damage.
He is talking about embracing technology, economic technology that is socially centered. It's good for communities. It's good for us as a community. It's integrated into society, and it's very responsible, and we need to adopt these technologies. We need to adopt them quickly. We need to adopt them very quickly, and politically we're going to control it too. And he throws all those in there. This is what they want to do. They really want to control your economic future. They really want to control the world future. And he does it in this crazy German accent. And he's wearing this, whatever. He looks like he's in Star Wars, frankly. And he wants to.
I think what Betty Blue Eyes said is spot on.
Oh, I missed it.
He got a little Dr. Evil in him.
Oh my God. He really does, Benny. He really does. It's a movie. You know what? Joe Rogan, he nailed it. Joe Rogan calls him a Bond villain. He totally looks and sounds like a Bond villain. It's really what it is. And what he's saying, you will own nothing and you will like it. It's terrifying. But this is what we have. And, decentralized cryptocurrency would be, he says, embracing new technologies. Embracing new technologies would be decentralized cryptocurrencies. Decentralized crypto communities are exactly what we need for society. They're a beautiful thing where we can operate as our own groups, not like it's overthrowing any kind of government or anything like that. This is just simply so we can have our own financial decisions. Hey, I can leverage trade if I want to. Hey, I can use a DeFi project and provide liquidity if I want to. And they don't want you to own anything. And so this is united.
They like crypto, but they want you to like the crypto that they control, and they can tell you what you can and can't use it on. That's what they like. They like the technology, but they don't like the decentralized part. They want to own it all, and they want to control what you are allowed to use with it. It's as simple as that. The central bank digital currencies, that is what they want. It's a digital currency, it's crypto, but guess what? It's centralized. Central bank digital currency.
Yep. And it's very, very interesting too, the timing of all this, because there's this conversation. It's really happening. It's really going down. All the regulatory bodies across the world. You got the World Economic Forum. You got the SEC, the CFTC, the Treasury. You got everybody speaking up across the globe about crypto regulations. Some are pro-crypto. Some are anti-crypto. Crypto is a good thing. I think when you really look into it, you'll see that it's a good thing. That's just why there's such a strong community, because it really brings a lot of good. And I think that the other side of that is the people that see how good it is and are truly scared of it and are just doing everything because, they have to talk about it now. It's too big to ignore. It had a $3 trillion market cap in the last bull market. And then there was one opportunity for them to come after crypto, riding off the back of the FTX failure. And from there, they are ramping up their argument. But the truth is that the US is pushing away from cryptocurrency. Other world powers are adopting it. And you also listen to that World Economic Forum. I didn't show you at the beginning of this speech. It is a German man praising, I think, Saudi Arabia, which no problem with that. I'm just pointing out that it wasn't the U.S. There was no mention of the U.S. They were talking about nothing to do with the U.S., and it's all about adopting new technologies. And unless there's some kind of, CBDC plan, right, coming out where there's going to be this united front, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what countries adopt crypto, what countries don't. Is the U.S. dollar really not going to be the kingpin anymore? And the answer really is increasingly starting to seem like no. Really.
Yeah, it is really important to think about who is going to be the one that says, yes, we want crypto here. We're going to do everything we can to benefit the people that are involved in crypto here. Everybody that is a crypto company, come here, pay the taxes here in our country. I think really whoever does that and can kind of harness that is going to be very, very, it's going to benefit, they're going to benefit massively on the political arena. And I think that when it comes down to it, I think that the United States is in a very tough spot here because they want to heavy hand regulate this so that they can put CBDCs in place. And if they heavy hand regulate this, all the cryptocurrency companies are going to go overseas, and it's going to put the United States financial industry, and not only that, but the United States as a whole, they're gonna really shoot themselves in the foot there. And I just really wonder how they're going to be able to do this, because these companies are going to be the next huge thing. I mean, this is a financial renaissance. And for the United States to say, no, we don't want to capitalize on that money being made is really bizarre. And I think they're going to fail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to fail. I mean, you see in the chat, choke point 2.0, you know, everybody's talking about choke point 2.0. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a real effort to squash it. I just think it's going to backfire. I really do. But the fact of the matter is, guys, is that there is going to be, and another call out to Ron Hoffler, Bitcoin is insurance against all that madness. Yeah, it really, really is. Buy your insurance against all that madness and get yourself some Bitcoin, guys. That's really, at the end of the day, and then you talk about any other coins, right? Bitcoin and then other cryptos too. But we do know that the government is going to continue to try to regulate it. And at some point, there will be a world where crypto and governments will have to figure out how to work together. And if we're going to be making a bunch of money in crypto, there are some taxes, unfortunately, guys. You know, eventually, maybe not this year, maybe not even in 5 years. It'll be interesting to see, but don't mess with the IRS on your crypto taxes, especially if you got some crazy huge bags and you're really going to get noticed. But guys, you got to consider getting your taxes done. Make sure you check that out, guys, because if you're making money, Uncle Sam's going to want to tax you, and you wouldn't want to make a bunch of money and then all of a sudden they're like, gotcha. You wouldn't want that. If you guys, for the record, by the way, I'm just doing this to help you guys out. We are not sponsored by anybody. But I had a friend text me the other day, and he asked me, what am I supposed to do about my crypto taxes? I sent him to Coinly. It's one I prefer. There's another one that I was looking at. Coin Ledger is also another great platform. If you guys are trying to figure out how to do your crypto taxes, these two are really easy. You can buy up on both of these to get more crazy services. But if you just have pretty simple trades and you weren't doing anything crazy, these are really simple platforms to do it in. And if you're into DeFi, they do take into account your DeFi wallets and things like this as well. Even leverage trading platforms. So both of these are two that I potentially recommend. Coinly and CoinLedger. We're not currently sponsored by these guys, but honestly, we'd love to be, because these are really great tools. And I think that they're really something that's needed. The crypto tax conversation, what a doozy. Right?
Yeah, you guys pay your taxes. Simple as that. You won't have to worry about them if you do. And honestly, there's definitely ways to get tax advantages depending on where you are in the world. If you're in Dubai, I mean, you don't even have to pay taxes on your crypto. So it depends on really where you are.
Yep.
But there are some tools that you can use.
Yep. They're really, really easy, guys. In case you guys were looking and trying to find something to it's coming up on the 18th. Taxes are due in the U.S. So if you're looking for that, I hope it helped. Let me know in the comments down below. Also, interesting story, Blacksea. This is ridiculous. So don't trust everything you read, guys. Dogecoin drops after Elon Musk's Twitter stops using its logo. Wait, what? When did the Doge logo come down, you might ask? Okay, then go over to Twitter. Oh, you know what? I don't have my Twitter pulled up. But I guarantee you, go over to Twitter, and you will see that the Dogecoin logo is still there. So this story came out at 4:02. I went on just before this stream, and the Dogecoin logo is still there. So maybe Twitter didn't update in my area of the world or something. But
yeah, it's still there for me.
So I don't know, CoinDesk, figure it out. So guys, just a point I want to make. First of all, Dogecoin, if you didn't see it, the logo on Twitter was the Shiba Inu dog. It still is the Shiba Inu dog, and Doge surged in a huge, huge way. Cooled off, obviously, nothing goes straight up, and it was a kind of, buy the rumor, sell the news, or, buy the news, and then it gets tired and kind of comes back down. But logo's still up, but don't believe everything you guys read. So do your due diligence, even if it's something silly like this, because you might have read this and then panic sold, right? So that's really dangerous. And by the way, if you read something like this, don't panic sell, right?
I would argue to say if you see anything in an article at all, don't do what it's telling you to do until you cross-reference it with maybe 10 other articles or figure out what the true data is.
Assume first somebody's trying to take your money, and then then do a bunch of research to make sure that they don't. Okay, guys, you got to be careful. And by the way, I think on Twitter, careful out there. There is an impersonating crypto report account officially, so be careful, guys.
The cameras are relentless.
Yeah, we're never gonna ask you guys for anything ever, unless we want you to vote in a poll. Okay, so like that's it. We'll ask you to vote in a poll, but we don't want to know, anything else.
Yeah, we're not gonna send you links. Yeah, we're not gonna be doing any of that.
No. Until we launch our own DApp one day, and then we'll suggest something. But we'll get there, Blacksea. We'll get there. Do you see this story? Apple had a hidden Bitcoin manifesto in every Mac they produced since 2018. I got one in my computer. Anybody with a Mac, how unbelievable is that? Is that a coincidence, or is this what do you think? I mean, I haven't seen anything else in this, but there's no story.
Obviously somebody at Apple likes Bitcoin.
Somebody at Apple, but who? I don't know. They don't get into it. I want this story. I want more to this story. Some tech blogger found it, but there's no admission from Apple at this point. If you guys see anything from Apple, let me know in the chat. But incredibly bullish, and also kind of strange too. Kind of confusing because Blacksea, remember, and I did a short on this, which we'll be posting tonight, but remember back in the beginning of the year, we did some stories on Coinbase complaining about Apple basically taking extra fees from the NFT wallets. So very weird, right? I mean, maybe
I would go to say that it was probably somebody that is not at the top of the Apple, or not on the Apple board, and they snuck it in there because I'll argue and speculate and say maybe because they saw what was going on and thought, hey guys, everyone should probably own some Bitcoin. Just a little Easter egg.
Yeah, and I guess too, maybe they could. Maybe they could kind of have it both ways, right? One, Apple's bullish on Bitcoin, but two, they also don't care about DeFi and they want a cut of the action and they're just being cutthroat, right? It's not the fact that they want to tax the Apple wallet or the iOS wallet for the Coinbase NFT platform. Maybe that's not bearish. Maybe that's just bullish because they're like, yeah, of course people are going to use this. Of course it's going to be very popular. And of course we're going to make a bunch of money. So I never really thought about it that way, but I definitely do think that Apple is bullish on Bitcoin and crypto. You can use a lot of crypto services with Apple Pay. I think you can use Binance with Apple Pay now. So there's conversations going on with some of these companies, guys, and it's going to be very, very interesting. Could you imagine a world where Apple bought a crypto exchange?
That'd be pretty interesting. I don't know if they would do it, but I could see something like that happening. Definitely, as they scale. I would see Microsoft do that before Apple.
Interesting. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we should
Microsoft really, really likes to acquire companies in different industries and try to get market share. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Microsoft do something like that. And usually after Microsoft does something, then you probably see Apple do something like that as well.
Yeah.
So, the cascading effect.
Which is great. I want more competition. I want them to be racing to the finish line. And that's what you see here. I mean, and that's the other argument here is that, look at these countries adopting cryptocurrency. People were bashing El Salvador for buying cryptocurrency. People were bashing Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy for buying cryptocurrency, and he is still buying. He bought 1,000 more the other day and another 2,000 the other day. It is happening, and you watch what's happening with the stories. They FUD these guys. They say this is so stupid. This is such a silly idea. And then come this next bull market, that country, El Salvador, is going to be doing spectacularly. Michael Saylor is going to be probably one of the richest men in the world. Probably, he's got more Bitcoin than Mt. Gox. That's insane.
Pretty incredible how that's happened, how he's just been accumulating. And, I wonder when he's going to sell, if he'll ever sell. I wonder. It's very, very curious to think about.
I really like, I believe in a world where he sells a fraction. Like he sells what he needs to make a purchase in some kind of like world where he needs to buy equity in a company or something. You know, like that's really what it is. You know, I had to buy an engagement ring. I sold my crypto for it, right? Crypto's my bank, sell a little crypto, buy the thing I need to buy in the real world, and keep holding the crypto because I believe in it. You know, that's something that I'm not recommending to everybody out there, but that's something you could do, right? I mean, that's how some people, there's a family that sold everything they had for Bitcoin and they just traveled. And when they need things, they just sell some Bitcoin and they buy the thing they need. Because over time, Bitcoin goes up 100% year over year. That's an incredible gain. That's an incredible gain. And Apple is definitely bullish. BlackRock is also very bullish, but very interesting to see this, guys. BlackRock is now coming into the limelight here in a very interesting way. And it kind of brings me back to the point I was making earlier. I'll get to it in a second. But BlackRock is going to sell $114 billion worth of failed banks securities. The banks are failing. Bitcoin's doing well. Again, 70% over the last 3 months. Bank stocks are falling. And BlackRock, who wants more Bitcoin, wants less banks. How interesting is that?
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting, and I wonder if they're getting any backlash for it.
Yeah, team me up. They were getting backlash. This is unbelievable. Yes, so like all of a sudden they say we're gonna sell the banks, and now imagine you're the banks, okay? The banks do not want bank runs. They don't want to lose their investors. They don't want to lose BlackRock. Well, BlackRock is essentially, a customer of the banks. They're buying up shares. They're the financial engine behind some of the banks, I'm sure, right? Well, they want out and they're going to sell some of these stocks because, frankly, banks are dying. Not all banks are dead. JP Morgan's very strong. Jamie Dimon's a happy camper. Banks are falling. He's getting more market share. But BlackRock wants out, and so they're going to sell some
It really
of these.
makes sense. It really makes sense, especially with the Federal Reserve, because they know that if the Federal Reserve keeps raising the rates, that these banks are going to fail. Why would they hold this if they know that, and they know that they're not going to get bailed out? If the banks are not going to get bailed out, then they don't want to hold the stock. It's as simple as that. The banks are going to get more and more pressure if we're raising rates, and if they're not going to get bailed out, they're not going to get the cop out, and the Fed is just going to let them fail. Why would you hold their share? You know it's going to plummet.
You know what though? I got to be honest. I don't know if they will let them fail. I kind of like. It's such a conflict, right? You don't want banks to fail because banks failing means businesses lose money, and then everybody's panic selling, and it's not good for everybody. A panic selling environment is never a good thing, really. I mean, like it's good for crypto in this case, right? And so you can be bullish on Bitcoin on account of it. But I like to think that the government is really in no position to do anything except for bail out the banks. Because if the banks fail, then the government was saying the banks were fine and then they're wrong. And the government's never wrong. Right? I don't know. I mean,
yeah. Ron
fail.
Hoffler in the chat. I thought for sure SVB wasn't going to get bailed out. The Fed stepped in so fast, nobody knew what happened. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's actually mind-boggling that story just blew over in a blink of an eye. That we printed $400 billion. Nobody was talking about that. That erased the past 6 months of quantitative tightening and the raising of rates. It erased the 6 months of pain.
Yep.
And the only people that were talking about were people like us, the Crypto Report, other YouTubers in the crypto space. It's really, really interesting that, that never hit the main pipeline of the mainstream media. And you have to really sit back and question and say, why didn't I hear about that?
Yeah, think about what the biggest stories are in the media right now. Just think about what the biggest story is in the media right now, and think about what it was 4 weeks ago. Shouldn't we be talking about 4 weeks ago instead of the narratives that are going on in the media right now? I mean, I think we got to focus on the issue, but what do, Blacksea? They sweep it all under the rug. They printed the money. They solved it in the worst way, but really the only way they can, and then find more stories to sweep it under the rug. And now...
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the majority of people have such a short attention span now that they've been trained to just, oh, what's the next shiny thing? Let me look at that. Oh, what's the next shiny thing? Oh, what do you want me to pay attention to? Oh, you don't want me to pay attention to that? Okay, I'll look at this over here. It's like a cat that's chasing a laser pointer.
Oh man. Oh, could we create something like that? That would be great. That would be a great sticker to have or something. Like if we could get like an animated GIF in the chat of a cat chasing a laser pointer with like Janet Yellen's face on it. That would be that would be tremendous.
How about that?
So guys, BlackRock's under fire, and you were asking Blacksea, what did they get any kickback? Well, yeah, they did. There's protesters holding red flares today and firing off smoke bombs. But here's the crazy part. So this story isn't about them selling these banks. The issue here is they're saying demonstrators forced their way into the building that houses BlackRock's office in Paris Thursday, taking their protest against the government's pension reforms to the world's biggest money manager. So they're talking about the government's pension reforms to the world's biggest money manager. That's what they say the story is. But it's just kind of interesting that this story and these protesters come out making a bad look in the headlines for BlackRock, at the same time as the banks are threatened to get the rug pulled on them by BlackRock, right? BlackRock wants to sell $114 billion worth of banks, and protesters show up on their door that same day.
Coincidence or... Yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Now, guys, say I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. You can say I'm not. I'm just saying... If you think that there's not organized protests, and when I mean organized, I mean not like a bunch of people that necessarily are there for the sake of protesting whatever they say they're there protesting, but to make a point to in a bigger fashion, if you're saying that doesn't exist, then just look to the past and kind of look historically at some of the other protests, and if they were politically incentivized or financially incentivized in any way, you will find history has shown that something like this is certainly possible. And I just think it's crazy to see, BlackRock's bullish on Bitcoin, BlackRock's selling banks. Now protesters are on BlackRock's door. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Well, guys, little update for you too. Crypto.com, we love Crowcoin here, is giving away some land deeds at some point in Q2, in the next 2 or 3 months, guys. There is going to be a launch of the main city game. And if you want to play the game, you need an NFT to do it. You need a land NFT to do it. This is super cool that they're trying to promote this game, get hype going, more utility for Crow by buying blueprints in game. So cool. Very excited to see. Also, more utility for Crow because in marketplaces where you can buy some of these NFTs, not on the Crypto.com NFT platform per se, but in some of the DeFi projects on the Cronos chain, you can use Crow as your gas token for your transactions when you're buying and selling these NFTs. So getting more utility there. But don't miss that, guys, because this is coming. It's pretty exciting. And I think it's one of those arguments to be made. This is the time to be looking, what projects can 100x? Why can they 100x? This is one of the reasons I believe Crow can 100x. That being said, we're going to continue to critique this project. Blacksea, can you give a little bit of a comparison? I was tempting Blacksea earlier to do a Clanosaur video. He's been doing an incredible job making money hands over fist, guys. Blacksea has been making money with NFTs lately, but it is not the loaded lions. And there's a difference in these projects. Can you just give a little taste of what kind of video you might do on this in the future and the difference between these two?
Of course, yeah. So I want to say that I got into NFTs probably about a year ago when I really truly started to dive deeper into them. I've always known about them. I've always explored them. I bought NFT back in 2020, but I never really started to dive into it. And I stumbled upon this project on the Solana ecosystem. I'm not sponsored by them at all, and I started to explore the Solana NFT space, and it really made me think when I found Cronos. Wow, if Crocoin and Crypto.com could replicate a fraction of their what should I say, their media presence
The PR
and their
is incredible.
their constant ability to keep everybody hyped and informed on what's coming and constantly getting people excited. If Crocoin could just harness a fraction of this, man, I think that by itself would make the Cronos NFT ecosystem massive. And the reason why Solana, in my opinion, is still around to this day is after the FTX collapse, the Solana NFT community basically kept this alive, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, though. The Solana technology still by far is unmatched. There's nothing as fast as it. There's nothing as cheap as it. Still to this day. But I do think that if Cronos could just replicate just a fraction of it. I mean, I'll be honest, guys. The Loaded Lion main city, like the Loaded Lion, I'll say it how it is. The Loaded Lion main city land mint was a absolute disaster. Disaster. It was terrible, and there were so many it was wrench after wrench getting thrown in the washing machine, and nothing was resolved. There was many people upset. There's many people throwing their Loaded Lions on the floor and selling them. And I just really would like to see Loaded Lions and the Cronos ecosystem be able to replicate some of this. I'll come out with a full video on Cronos shortly. I probably will be going to the NFT New York City event and going and talking with them. I'm really excited about that. So be prepared for some more content when it comes to NFTs. But I do want to answer a question in the chat from Ron Hoffer. How do you deprogram all that crypto FUD from the general public? And I'm going to say something that's absolutely brutal. And I just have to be honest. A lot of people won't get deprogrammed from it. A lot of people will have to face the pain. And I hate to say that. A lot of people will miss the boat, guys. And that's why it's your job to buy the crypto, to teach your friends and family about crypto, and have people really understand. Because a lot of people have no idea what kind of system we live in when it comes to the financial world. A lot of people have no idea at all that it's kind of all just a scam. I hate to say it, but it's just how it is. And a lot of people will have to suffer the pain. And, it's funny because a lot of them will come and talk to you when Bitcoin next cycle is at the peak of next cycle, whether that's 160K Bitcoin, whether it's 300K Bitcoin, or whether it's 80K Bitcoin. They'll come to you and say, oh, I think I should buy Bitcoin. And you'll probably say, now's not the time, and they'll buy it. And you know what will happen? They'll buy it, they'll hold it, it will crash on them, and then they'll still hold it, and then all of a sudden they're going to find out about what crypto really is, and then that's how you truly deprogram. They're going to have to feel the pain.
Yeah, and the truth is that they're not going to be able to deprogram everybody. You look at crypto's a political issue right now, and you look at politics, and regardless of who you vote for in any given election, 50% of the people get who they want, and 50% of the people don't get who they want. And typically, that 50% of people is going to not like the other side because they truly believe, right? I mean, that's kind of, unfortunately, that's kind of the toxic environment that politics has gotten into, right? And I think not just politics, but just opinions in general. It's so volatile where, no, I'm right, you're wrong is kind of really what it is. And it's not really any way to approach anything. And the reason that exists, guys, is because of propaganda, okay? And there's propagandas on both sides of an argument. If you think for a second that there's not Bitcoin propaganda, then you're wrong. There's absolutely Bitcoin propaganda. And if you think for a second that there isn't anti-Bitcoin and crypto propaganda, then you're wrong. There's absolutely propaganda for that, just like there is for one political party to another political party. And so at the end of the day, unfortunately, there is going to be a set of people that you're going to be unable to deprogram, both in the crypto space and in the regular, anti-crypto space, I guess you could say, right, in this circumstance. But unfortunately, there will be sheep and there will be wolves, and I'd like to argue that the wolves are the people buying Bitcoin and figuring out, hey, I don't need a bank for this, right?
I got to make another comment here because, when we talk about anti-crypto, the only people that are anti-crypto are politicians. There's nobody, you can't go out in public and ask somebody on the street, hey, do you think crypto should be banned? The only people that will say yes to that are probably people that panic sold, to be honest. Or they bought the top and then they sold the bottom because they tried to trade. They didn't just dollar cost average in. But when it really comes down, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's politics. I think Warren Buffett fits right in with politicians because it's lobbying, and he's lobbying for the banks.
Exactly.
But I really believe that if you were to ask people on the street, hey, do you think crypto should be banned? They'll say, why? Why should it be banned?
Right. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. You really, and now you got me thinking too, are we going to get to a point eventually, you can ask yourself the question, do you think we will get to a point where people will say, I think crypto should be banned, just regular people? And I would argue that the answer is absolutely yes, because at some point, the people that really don't like crypto, that are trying to stop it because it's a threat to them, are going to convince the people that really shouldn't care that they should care. And that's how it works. But we are not those people. We are doing our research. And you know what? The other piece of this is the harder they push, and we keep talking about this, the harder they push against something, the more curious minds that know nothing about it want to look into it. Once the cat's out of the bag, I think that's it. And that's why we're so darn bullish on this thing, guys.
It's the Barbara Streisand effect. I believe that's what they call it. It's where when you're trying to suppress information and say, no, it's bad, and you're trying to keep people from finding the truth, then eventually it does the exact opposite of that, and more people find out than you initially wanted.
When we're seeing it, guys, because remember, we were talking in the last bull market, 2017, Bitcoin crashed. Bitcoin's dead. Bitcoin's dead. That's what they said, Even back in the other, people were talking during this bull market, they were saying scammers, con artists, hackers. That was all this was, the whole way up. Then Bitcoin's dead. China banned Bitcoin. Look, we're still going up. Here we are in this bull market. We had a pandemic, unfortunately, that brought us down, but then still a huge bull market came. The Fed was printing dollars. There was a very bullish bull run for Bitcoin and crypto. And now we come down to the bottom. It's FTX. Everything's dead. Yet we're still going up, and yet we're still going to keep going up. In the last bull market, we were at $3 trillion. In the beginning of the stream, we talked about a $10 to $20 trillion market cap for Bitcoin and crypto. Guys, you could have anywhere from 8 or 9 trillion to $22 trillion flowing into this asset class. It's coming, guys. It's absolutely coming. It's incredibly exciting. Apple talking about Bitcoin the way that it wasn't even Apple talking about it. And I'll tell you, I'm very curious to see who in Apple addresses this, if anybody at all.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody will say anything at all. I have a feeling nobody's going to say anything about it.
I think you're right. I think it's just going to be swept away, unfortunately, because they don't want to give away their position. If they are really bullish and they're buying Bitcoin, they don't want to come out and say that, because then maybe Microsoft and all their other competitors are going to start buying it too, and then they lose the competitive advantage.
Yeah.
You got to keep those secrets, unfortunately. Michael Saylor's just like, no, I'm going to tell you that
I bought another 10,000.
And everybody should be buying it. And it's going to be like buying a block in New York City before New York City was like, dude is such a bull, but an incredible example of somebody that believes in this technology. And we got to have some of the frontiers, guys. And he is absolutely one of them. Bitcoin right now, I do believe we could get a test, guys, on the $27,000 price level. Wouldn't be surprised at all. That being said, volatility in this new month, I would not be surprised if we had a quick and swift breakout to the upside here. Past $30,000 and maybe even towards $32,000 or $35,000. If you had to flip a coin on this, Blacksea, which way do you think it would land?
Oh man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna say that because I think that right now we have listen. All right, I'm a broken record here. If you guys watch my videos in the morning, I'm a broken record here. As long as we're above 26,300, I believe. As long as we're getting daily candle closes above that, it's bullish consolidation, and really, we're headed up higher to 32,000. It's as simple as that. But if we break below that, get some daily candle closes below that, well, then we just look at the lower level. It's really that simple. I can't tell you if it's going to go up or down, but I will tell you that it is going to break out sooner than later.
And Facts spitting in the chat, spitting facts, just mentioned the CEO said he personally owns Bitcoin. Tim Cook with Apple personally owns Bitcoin. Very good to see. I'm not surprised. He's a smart man. And even if he didn't come out and say that, I would have assumed that the man who runs Apple bought some Bitcoin. Staying ahead of the curve. I mean, you see these slick iPhones. You think the man that invented the iPhone, the thing that you buy and trade your Bitcoin on, ain't going to buy some Bitcoin? Of course he bought some Bitcoin. I'm just surprised he told us about it, I guess.
I think that a lot more people in the upper echelon of society, especially when it comes to the tech companies, own Bitcoin and crypto more so than they lead on. I think that is 100% a thing.
Definitely. Well, guys, I'd love to get some questions from you. If you have any questions for Blacksea and me, we'll take a little Q&A here before we call it quits for this stream. But let's chat about some crypto. Seeing what we got here in the chat.
Yeah, I will also say that I think that we do, like I've been saying, this next year, leading into the Bitcoin halving, is really just the year of accumulation. It's really just sideways, and I think that it's going to be trading. It's going to be range bound between 19,500 and maybe even the low ends of 40,000, maybe even a little bit of maybe even the low ends of 50,000, depending on what really happens with the Federal Reserve. And when you zoom out and look at the 4-year cycle, it is very feasible that we do get to the levels of a little bit, let's say 10K to 15K off the previous all-time high leading into the Bitcoin halving. It's very, very possible. However, I do think that diminishing returns are a thing, and I do think that that's where I put the range at between 19,500 and 40,000.
Yeah. If we were to see that bull run happen here, and we were to see us get up to kind of that previous all-time high before the next halving. Remember, guys, that halving is coming in March, around March or April of 2024. That is right here, okay? So that's something we're looking at all the way up there. And really, guys, if it was something like that, it sounds ridiculous, but then you kind of look at a line, see this line? See this line? Something like that really isn't that crazy. It's likely going to be, a little bit more, probably like this, right? Something, who knows, right? Just a little more jagged. But for it to get up towards that halving, up, 55, 60,000 even, that really wouldn't be that crazy, guys. That really wouldn't be that crazy at all.
Francisco Gabriel in the chat, is Blacksea playing the main city game? 100% I'm going to play the main city game. I have some Molten Caverns. I'm excited to try it out. But, it's crazy. I'm going to come out with this Claynosaurus video shortly. They just, as an NFT brand, came out about, I think, going on about 5 months. Mm-hmm. They already have a mobile game out, and it's not even their main game. I've been spending some time playing that because there's going to be a competition. Basically, if you place on the leaderboard, you could win a prize. I don't know what the prizes are yet, but it's pretty incredible. And stuff like that is what I want to see from Main City. I want to see hype. I want to see more involvement with the Crow fam. I want to see the Main City Twitter page replying to other people's tweets, even if it's not even about Main City. I want to see them active in the Crow community. But yeah, 100% I'm going to be playing. 100% I'm going to be playing. I'm excited. I love Crow Coin. I've been holding it forever. It would be a shame if I didn't play it.
No, I mean, look, for the record, guys, Blacksea is excited and bullish for this Loaded Lions game, so long as they keep doing things right. At least excited for it. But the thing is if you're out there thinking like, man, why does Blacksea not like this project as like enough to get really hyped about it whenever it comes up? Well, the truth is because he's been looking at other projects, and when you compare one project to another, you really start to get an idea how well your project's doing. And the truth is that there's other projects that are just doing a way better job.
Yeah,
than the Loaded
give
Lions
me
team right
something to be hyped about. Give me something to be hyped about. Show me, come up with some giveaways if I do something with a little mobile game. Have some events. Guys, there's going to be NFT New York City. Is Main City going to be there? I don't think so. I don't think Loaded Lions are going to be there. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I haven't heard anything about that.
No, I haven't heard any. I didn't really look into it. Maybe, crypto.com's got a booth, right? I mean, at most that might be it. But, yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see. They've got more announcements coming. We'll just have to kind of see. Keith Fitzgibbon asking, will Crow ever do airdrops? Probably. Well, I'll tell you this. Crypto.com NFT wallet does airdrops. Like, for example, I got a 76ers Loaded Lion for holding a Loaded Lion. So crypto.com did airdrops, but Crow, I mean, I don't know. We'd have to see. Yeah. I mean, definitely crypto.com in some capacity is doing those.
That's another thing. I would love to see Main City say, hey, every unlisted Loaded Lion gets airdropped a something for your house, like a little NFT for your house when Main City comes out. Give me something like that. That will get the people going. That would get people excited.
I bet you just beat the news. I bet you that's going to come out. That's a great point, Blacksea. That's probably going to be one of the first things they do whenever. Maybe not. Maybe they got to wait till they launch it, right? Till their systems are online. Maybe. I don't know how it works, but if they don't do that, that would be very interesting. That would be very telltale of what the future is going to look like, because that's really one of the big differences I'm seeing with this Claynosaurus project that's been skyrocketing versus Loaded Lions is there's just more things. There's more announcements. There's more airdrops. There's the can, and then there's a spray can, and then there's another thing, and now there's clay, and there's all these things coming out. We've got like the Loaded Lions, and then we had the Cyber Cubs that were dropped, I think, to the Loaded Lions, and like you get a hoodie, for a Loaded Lion, and you get these extra duplicate Loaded Lions that are like 76er style, and the land isn't airdropped, right? I mean, you had to mint it and all that. So like,
I'll tell you what, I think that Loaded Lions should have been airdropped the land randomly. I really think that. I think that would have been the more appropriate way to do it, but I don't really know if you can do that with the Crowcoin gas on the Cronos chain. I know on the Solana chain, they have the ability to do these mass NFT airdrops because it's so cheap. But I want to say that the gas is pretty cheap as well on Cronos.
The only problem with that would have been 25,000 plots of land for 10,000 lions.
Yeah,
so,
give one each to every Loaded Lion, and then have the remainder be minted out. Yep.
Yeah.
Should have done that. Reward your holders. Reward your holders.
Yeah. They lost so many lions through that drop. People were angry about the Loaded Lion mint. Then the land came and they lost some lions. Inevitably, guys, it's coming back. The question is, though, is like, are there other projects? And if there are other projects out there, you got to kind of use them as a base to determine whether your project is doing a good job right now. And they've still got a loyal community somehow, but I'll tell you that there's going to be a lot more coming. If you guys want to make sure that you're ahead of some of these plays, Blacksea's been doing a spectacular job. He's been calling them out on our private Discord. If you become a member on the channel, you might see some of those plays as those suggestions come out. We got a link in the description down below if you want to become a member on the channel. Just like Ron Wilson. Good to see you, Ron. Thanks for hopping in. Just like Benny Blue Eyes. Just like, I think we got Nazar in the chat today. So join us, guys. Make sure you don't miss that out.
Yeah, Keith Fitzgibbon's asking about what I think about AI tokens. I think that there's definitely a space for that. I think you might see. I definitely think that not the narrative, but some big plays leading into this Bitcoin halving into the next bull run is going to be AI coins as well as gaming coins, because I was talking to Crypto Kip a few days ago, and I was saying, when the metaverse tried to truly launch, it was kind of towards the later end of the bull market. And you can't really just say, hey guys, there's metaverse hype, here's a game. It doesn't really work like that.
No.
So now you're starting to see, it's 2 years later, now you're starting to see some of these games come to fruition. And I think that leading into this next bull run, it will be like, hey guys, the metaverse is here now. We have actual things you can try, and that will get people really excited. So I really think that AI coins and gaming coins as well are going to be kind of a big big movers, I should say, in the next bull market.
I agree. And a question from Richard Merrill. Question on all here. Do you think crypto will still be in the U.S. for the next bull run? Easy answer. 100%. There's no way.
I agree with that. They can't. They can't. I mean,
No.
if they did, it would be catastrophic. They couldn't. They couldn't just say, "Hey guys, we're banning it." But I know there is talk of a bill. There is talk of a bill that would create a $250,000 fine if you used a VPN to access "quote unquote" banned apps. In the United States, and up to 10 years in prison. Talk about draconian law. But, it's pretty ridiculous that if they did something like that, sure, but it's just so heavy-handed. They can't do it. They just can't do it.
I gotta give commending where it's owed. Benny Blue Eyes, thanks for keeping the chat clean. Careful, guys. People in the chats, sometimes they'll be trying to get you to look at things that you shouldn't. So thank you for all the work you do for us, Benny. Keeping the chat clean. Appreciate you, brother. Nazar, glad you're still here. Texas, crypto, aim for 100K. 100K crow. That's a big bag of crow right there. I also saw John was asking if he should aim for 30K crow tokens. Depends on how many crow tokens you want, right? Diversify, get what you need. Feel good. Richard Merrill, thanks for the super chat. You're the best. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining us today. A lot of fun, guys. We have a lot of fun. One of my favorite parts, I don't know about you, Blacksea, one of my favorite parts about doing these live streams is the Q&A. I really wish we were at a point, if you guys ask enough questions, we will answer as many of them as you can. I really wish we were at a point where we could do a majority of our video as a Q&A. I'd love to do 30 minutes of the news and 30 minutes Q&A. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really, really enjoy just the community. I like talking, going back and forth, and seeing where everybody's minds are at when it comes to different things in the crypto space. It's a lot of fun.
Yep, it's a blast. Ron Wilson in the chat saying, hey, I'm just mad. I feel like I wasted money on 6 VFriends, 2 NFTs that I minted. They aren't worth much of anything anymore. I'm kind of afraid to mess with NFTs anymore. Ron Wilson, I love that comment. I'm sorry to hear you feel like that, but I love that you're coming out and saying something like that. Because the truth is, Ron, is there's a lot of great NFT projects out there, and there's a lot of NFT projects that are going to do nothing. And I'm not saying your projects will do something or will not do something. I don't know anything about VFriends. I don't know anything about that mint. I wish you are making money. I hope you make a bunch of money on those. But I'll even tell you this, the loaded lions are an example, right? I mean, I bought my loaded lion worth about $2,400 in value, and now it's currently worth probably about $2,200 in value. I bought it, I don't know, over 6 months ago now. So I'm not doing that well on that investment. NFTs are hard. And then on the other hand, there's investments out there, 2 investments that Blacksea crushed it on, like found the research, D-Gods and these Clanosaurs. How about the D-Gods, Blacksea?
Yeah, I will say this, so I've known about NFTs since 2020 when CryptoPunks started coming out. I was looking into it and I was saying to myself, man, I think that this is a massive bubble, and I think it's going to crash way harder than crypto is going to crash, because I have already been through towards the That was like halfway through the 2020, 2021 bull market. And I wanted to stay away from it. I said, I'm going to stay away from it. I'm going to see what happens in the bear market. Well, so I kept my finger on the pulse. I was watching it, seeing how it would go, check in on it. And then fast forward to about 2022, halfway through, probably the beginning of 2022, I started to really do the research. And I put my head down. I dove into the crypto Twitter NFT space. And I started to do my research, and I stumbled upon different projects. And in my head, I wanted to figure out what would be profitable. So, over that course of years, I really only bought into 2 to 3 projects, and some of those projects I flip, and some of those projects I hold. And it's really important that you look for these winners amongst these. There's a lot of projects that are just money grabs when it comes to the NFT space. So
and a lot of coins,
Yeah, true, exactly true. And it's important that you find quality projects. And I found a quality project. I make some money, and I flipped some, and then there's some that I hold for the long term.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I'll tell you, he's been crushing it on the NFTs, and there's a lot of NFTs you can crush it on there. But definitely going to try to talk more about that and do more content for you guys on that. So if you do become a member, Ron, you're a member, get into that Discord. We'll try to talk more about some of that stuff for you too. Thanks for the question.
Hop in that that NFT chat and the NFT signals chat, and I'll talk with you.
Yep, awesome, Mr. Plan Profit. We talked a little bit about the Crowland. Floor price is up, but we need more for the game. Texas Crypto asking, what is tectonic? I don't know if you're asking or you're laughing. You can get into that on the Tectonic app. We can talk more about that one in another video if you guys want. But John's asking, how do I feel about Hex? Blacksea, is Hex Richard Hart's crypto?
Yes, it is.
I don't like it. I'll just tell you, not financial advice. That could be a great project. A lot of people made a lot of money on it. I don't like Richard Hart. I don't like his attitude. I don't like the way that he approaches his arguments, just based on the way that I've kind of heard some of the things he says. And I'll tell you that the leadership on a project is very, very important to me. And one of the reasons why I shy away from Cardano, because I don't love the attitude of Chris Hodgkinson, because traditionally when I've seen him, I don't like the way that he kind of belittles every other project. Like, his project is the best. Instead of kind of supporting the community of tokens, it seems like he wants to more so find an argument of why his is the best. So those are some of the things that I look at. Could be a good investment. A lot of people have made a lot of money on it, but I thought that's what it was. And so I'll give you my comments, guys. If I have any kind of understanding of a project or the founders behind it, we'll talk about it. But certainly don't have an extremely strong position on that. I'll tell you, there's so many other projects that I would rather look at. Bitcoin first, frankly, Bitcoin or Ethereum before Hex for sure. For me, Blacksea, any comments on something like that?
Yeah, sure. There's definitely a chance that coin goes to the moon. There's definitely a chance of that. But I will say that there is something to be said about the face of a coin or a face of a project. If there's anything that rubs you the wrong way or rubs me the wrong way, I usually think to myself, wow, that's probably rubbing a lot of other people the wrong way too. And when I think about that, then it makes me kind of shy away from it. I do think that that could be a potential play to make a quick flip, especially in the bull market. But that's not something I'm looking forward to holding long term, because I don't quite understand the utility, nor have I done enough research.
Well, guys, I'll tell you, we had a lot of good questions there. That's a lot of fun. Ron Wilson's getting in the Discord. We'll see you in there. We're going to get in there with you as well. Guys, that is really all we got today. What a fun stream. A lot of stuff going on. Got a little heated there into some of the conspiracy theories for you as well. Had to do it. Blacksea, do you have any parting words here for this crypto community before we hang it up for the week?
Yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I really, really look forward to these live streams. Really look forward to talking one-on-one with all you and just feeling the community out and seeing what's going on. Super excited to see Ron in the private Discord. I want to talk NFTs with you. I'm super excited, guys, to just do these live streams. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.
That's all we got. I'm Crypto Kip. That was Blacksea. This is the Crypto Report. Don't forget to smash up the like button. It helps us so much in the YouTube algorithm. If you like the content, smash up the like. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. 5 videos every day, every Tuesday, Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're doing these live streams, guys. That's all I got. For now, don't forget, guys, to DCA, HODL, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. See you next time.